What is going on, everybody? I thought we'd do a quick breakdown on my stats for up to this point where I just received a $20,000 payout from Apex. That's by trading 10 50K accounts with them. And also, I haven't done this since my last payout. Actually, believe it or not, this is actually my first payout since March. I'm going to go ahead and show you all that why as well. And I'll show you my expenses from April and May. And then also the total payouts for the year, where I'm currently at for the year. I will say it's not super crazy, it's not super high, but I'll show you when it pops up, and then but it's it works. This is transparency, right? So let's go ahead and get started. So right here, first off, what you see is my pin. So this is the accumulation of my 10 funded accounts with Apex. And for the most part, so this is the course over, I think, 11 trading days. Let's actually go ahead and take a look here. First, I can go to calendars. Let's go to the month view here. And so over the month here, so the first week from the 19th down to here, because this is when I started trading these accounts, this is when they were funded. Got them funded on Friday, started trading them on Monday. And you can see, 5,000, roughly a good week right there is 29,400. That's a solid week. Didn't trade on the 26th because of the holiday. And then I did have one losing day the following week right there where you can see I lost about $2,600. But overall for these funded accounts right here, that was a total P&L of 39,400. Cool. Now let's continue on. All right, into June. And then you can see that I have Monday and Tuesday here, and then we should have, actually we didn't trade on Wednesday because that's when I did the payout request. Okay, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, that's right. There's 11 trading days, and I'll show you here why in a minute. So I had to confirm, but here is the screenshot that it was approved, and so here's my PAs. This is the first payout request on these ones. I requested it on the 3rd, and I get $2,000 per account, and yes, 11 trading days, and boom, there it was approved. Should be hitting the bank account this coming week. So not bad for 11 trading days. I'd like to get another payout on those as well. And before we get into the details of the trades and everything, let's talk about, and a lot of people are like, how much are you paying for these accounts and things like that? And to me, I think it's important to share that because that's the trade. I say this a lot at Simpler. I say it a lot to the members that trade live with me is, this is the trade. The game is different when you're trading the prop firms. So let's go ahead and break this down and we'll talk about what exactly is the trade. All right. So if we look here for my yearly stats, right? It's not overly fantastic. If I just click here and I could scroll on over. All right, so for now, I am up currently, if you look right here, that sum right there is a little over $60,000. So we're 6 months into the year. To me, that's good right there. I'm not a millionaire. That's okay. The reason I got into trading was so I no longer had to be overseas and I could pay my bills and be home with my family. And I am accomplishing that right now. That is why I trade. I don't trade to have a Lambo or some crazy extravagant thing. I just want to be home with my family. I'm a family man. I like it. It's what I do. But continuing on here is, okay, so January, there was no payouts, just some fees. In February, because that's where I was trading 15 accounts total, 5 with Tradeify and 10 with Apex. And you see I came out to roughly a total, if you deduct the total expenses, it was a total of, we'll call it $36,000. I did get another $14,000 payout total minus expenses on March and April and May. So no payouts in April. Man, in April, it's not like I wasn't funded. I actually lost a total of 40 PAs due to I'm going to say glitches in the trade copier. I don't know what happened. It was happening to members that were trading with me. So I was using Replicanto with TradingView, and there's something between both of them wasn't syncing. It shows in a trade in one, but I'm not in a trade in the other, and things like that. It just was never syncing, and ultimately always ended up in losing the account. So I ended up losing 4 funded accounts there, and from there, I also played around with a few $300,000 accounts. I didn't load up on 20 or anything like that. I grabbed just a few of them just to see if I could get to the $300,000 accounts at Apex. And to be honest, the intraday drawdown with the the risk reward. When I say risk, I mean the drawdown to the reward to get funded is really large for my style, and I don't know. And in the evaluation phase, I obviously am just not as I'm gonna be honest. I don't like the evaluation phase. I like to come in and I can get funded within a day or two. I'll say day or two. So it just wasn't a jive with me. So there was a lot of like back and forth there. But just being honest, yeah, I blew a few PAs there, a few of those 300Ks just never got funded, things like that. So that's what I did between April and May. So May rolls around. Total May expenses are a total of, let's see, so Tradeify had that deal, right, where they launched Tradeify TV. I did buy 5 50K accounts for $30, got them funded, and then I had to pay the activation fee. And then also, if you add the Apex, when they had their 90% off deal, grab 10 and the total funding there. So all those expenses right there came to the total of this here. And now we're into June. So I've been trading them in from May. Now we're in June. And so now that's why I'm taking these payouts here. So if we look at it, what exactly was the trade? I say this all the time. What is the trade? So the trade is, I'm spending 2K betting that I could have the skills to take a payout. And so right now I have a 20K payout. So what was the risk reward, right? So the risk was 2K. And so far, the reward has been 20K. So I 10x my money. From a business standpoint, that is fantastic. And that is what's happening right now. And like I said, overall up 60,000 on the year. Net Lambo money, but you know what? It works for what I got going on, and I'm going to keep on trucking and keep on doing that. I'm curious to see where I'll be at the end of the year. So there it is, and that's all that's here. Hopefully, I get some more payouts in June, but every trader has its ebbs and flows. April was not overly great. I got so frustrated. I kept on losing those funded accounts. It was happening left and right. It was not cool, but it happened. And then also, like I said, in May, and here we are. Cool. So there's all that information. Let's go ahead and continue on. All right. And so we covered here, and then cover these 2 days up into where we didn't trade because my account was under review for 2 days, so I didn't trade anything here. And so let's go ahead and continue on. So not there, but so, and then here is the overview, right? The overview of the trade. So over those 11 days, I was up 46,585. And overall, the main thing you need to look at here, we talked about the one losing day. My win rate is 63%. I mean, 60% win rate, that's solid. I could take that. And yeah, I'll take that. I like to have 60-65% with a profit factor of about 1.5. Let's actually see what the profit factor is. So here's the overall thing there. Now let me scroll down. See, overall statistics. Okay, right now we're on the P&L side of it. And let's see, we talked about the P&L there. Going down, average winning trade is 215. Average losing trade is 239. Okay, so that's not too good there, but let's see. All right, yeah. So it doesn't really say much there, other than what I just already told y'all. All right, score metrics. Profit factor of 1.65. Okay, so for me, the way I trade, if I could have a 60% to 65% success rate and a profit factor of about 1.5, then I can stay consistently profitable. That is where that's kind of like my thing. You need to balance your win rate with your profit factor. I'm going to be honest, when it comes to trading futures, so many people, in my opinion, look at you need a huge R factor. You do need a big R factor, which would be nice. However, huge R factors with huge success rates aren't that common in futures because there's, everyone sees these day trading videos when those are all like day trading stocks. When you're day trading stocks with a catalyst, things that push things around crazy, that's when you get some huge R factors with some good risk reward, right? But whenever you're day trading futures, in my opinion, having we'll say a mellow, a neutral, like a 60-65% win rate with a profit factor of 1 to 1.5. Those are good metrics for day trading futures, in my opinion. I think so many people look at the day trading stuff of stocks and like, oh, you need all this crazy stuff. Sorry, I get off my soapbox, but that's kind of like my thought process there. Sorry about that. But yeah, so there's that. And then let's go on down account statistics. All right, so that goes just per account, so not a huge thing there. I know we do AI on this thing. Let's see. All right, here we go. AI. All right, so AI analyzes your trades on TradesViz here. I don't really pay attention to this one because this is just based off of where you're. So if you're day trading stocks, it's like where do you perform the best in what price range of a stock. I got to day trade whatever the futures are at, right? So that doesn't help. Right here is just like how much you use when you're day trading. Like are using when you're doing futures is saying like are you 1 to 3 contracts, so it's good for knowing when you're day trading stocks like how big you really perform in. So I don't really pay attention to that one, but what is important is if you look down here we do have the time of day. So if you look here you can see for the most part in the open, if you think about last week, the market would open and then it would just chop around all morning and then we finally get a move in the afternoon, right? So you can see in the afternoon, that's where most of my wins came in, is because the move was coming in the afternoon. It was never in the morning, which is, in my opinion, kind of frustrating because I like to come and trade in the first hour, be done for the day, go do what I want. However, sometimes it doesn't matter what I want, right? The market's not going to do that. But let's go ahead and look at the stats and see exactly what's being done here. So just like it says there, 86% of my profits were made between 11 and 2:30. My worst performing range was early. Why? Because the market was choppy at that time, right? So we know that. That makes sense. And I don't really trade during power hours, so therefore there is nothing there because I like to get trades done and out, like I just said. And let's see. Highest number of trades were done from 10:30 to 11:30. Okay. That would make sense too because it's kind of like where the breakout here, or that's when the breakout would occur. And say I lost 4,000 due to 80 trades during pre-market, but I don't see it over here. So I don't know. Oh, I guess it's this trade right here. Is that pre-market? It must have been like right pre-market. Or maybe there's not a syncing on the time because I'm in Central. It's interesting because they usually don't trade pre-market. I don't know. I'll figure that out. All right, continuing. And then duration, that just says how long you're in a trade. To be honest, I'm in a trade and I get out pretty quickly. So there's nothing to worry about there. All right, now let's look at the win rate. This is also important. So I like to look at my profit and loss, right? And let's look at the win rate. Same thing. Like I don't look at the top really because it talks about what the price of the ES was or in NASDAQ, whatever I'm trading. Don't look at the volume because that doesn't really matter. Like right here it says about 7% of my trades are made like 2 to 3, yeah, because I'm trading 2 to 3 contracts, so that's why it makes sense. So it doesn't really matter. Don't pay attention there. I'm gonna see 86% of my trades between 11, 30. Okay, we know that. Flipping, this is kind of interesting here. Flipping the statistic, the best overall win rate, 88% was achieved in the price range during noon to 2, because honestly, that's when most of the moves were happening. All right, so from noon to 2, but the total profits, 16,500 were made. 68% less than the previous metric were considered best range for only P&L. That's interesting. Okay, but it makes sense because it was choppy, then you finally break out. That's kind of like that was the theme probably last week and even the week before. And see, after the first hour win rate increased to 67%, makes sense once again because of the chop. I got tired of hearing me say that because of the chop. And let's see, I talked about the pre-market again. Lots of volume, 42% in 60 minutes was traded during the time from 10:30 to 11:30. Okay. And average total win rate on this was 61%. This high rate somewhat correlated with the average win rate as it's over 50%. Okay, that makes sense. All right, cool. I mean, so what do we know? We know that price was choppy in the beginning. That's where I took my losses. After the price finally broke out in the afternoon, that's when I made my most wins. And yeah, that's pretty much it, right? Not a whole lot, really. This isn't saying anything, like nothing is really wowing me, really. Like I was looking here at performance and metrics ratios, like my trade expectancy. Again, so it's all like obviously positive. I mean, there's nothing really profit factor for time of day. So you see like right here, profit factor of 4.6. This one's kind of low, 0.8. Okay. But those sound good. Then this is based on the day. Like how much are you losing to making based on the day, not overall. But cool. Yeah, there's all that. So I guess that's all I have for y'all. So like I said, just took out a $20,000 payout from Apex. up total of 46,500 in those Apex accounts. And for the year with total expenses, like I don't mind showing you all this. My red hair don't care, but I'm up a total of 60,000 on the year. I had a dry April and May, which is fine because you can see I make up my losses, my expenses in the winning months. So, but like I said, April and May were frustrating with those glitches, but hey, hopefully that is it for the year. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please throw a comment down below. I always circle back around and answer the questions. Make sure all questions are answered. If you have any questions about the prop firm space, by all means, feel free to ask. And also, yeah, I guess we'll say the cliche, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And then I will see y'all on the next video. Take care, everybody.